Welcome to Command School number 8. I'm joined by my fellow Recon Marine, Ron. We're going to be going over a few things to cover just basic radio etiquette for security teams. And those 3 things are going to be how to speak clearly and use the right structure, how to maintain radio discipline and courtesy, and then number 3, how to escalate through the right chain and how to do it quickly. So I guess the first point that we should go through is just how to speak clearly and how to use the right structure. So when you're talking on a radio, you need to use the right structure, and that's usually how you start off your radio communication. So when you key in your mic, you need to say who is talking and who you're talking to. So if I wanted to communicate to the team leader and I'm the Slack man, my radio transmission would start off, "Team leader, this is the Slack man. I'm in the west hallway observing a suspicious individual." You want to start that transmission off with who you're talking to and who you are.
So yeah, you have the scenario here, for example, Slackman, this is Rover 2, one male, mid-40s, trench coat, east hallway, approaching children's hallway, over. So that's exactly what Adam was saying. It's who is talking to who, a brief description, quickly, concisely. I'm not panicking. There's nothing elevating my voice where an outside anyone listening to me would be overly scared, but they just hear what's going on. You're in a situation like that, time matters. Every second matters. So you really need to utilize what you have to the best of your ability. If you're going to use security, if you can use radio, speech is the same thing. If I can move to the area and help out, those seconds matter. Being clear, being professional, and having a clear path of where the chain is going to be is crucial for success.
And the scenarios could be anything. It could be something small or it could be something large, like a threat coming into the building or something like that. Being able to speak through each situation calmly and effectively is going to really help you in any scenario.
Even if it's like a mundane, routine thing, you're just being overcautious, good. But when it actually needs to happen, you're already using the same protocol. It's already smooth. It's already well rehearsed. That's going to help things out tremendously. It's better for everyone, even if you're not the 2 individuals involved in that, because you still know what's going on. Your situational awareness of the area is going to be huge with that. So now you know who needs to talk to who and how quickly that can be done is very important.
All right, so the second thing that we want to talk about is to maintain radio discipline and how to use common courtesy over the radio. So I think a big thing for radio discipline is just make sure that you are not trying to step on anyone's transmission or communicate when you don't need to be the one communicating. You want to let people finish their thoughts before you step in. So a common way to do that is just make sure that after each transmission, you kind of wait 3 to 4 seconds before you start your transmission. That way, you know, no one's on the net and you're not going to be clogging or stepping on the radio.
Yeah, that's crucial. I definitely agree. Depending on the situation, you might have something to add, follow, or you might get a command from your team leader. And if you're just constantly clicking on the radio within that short amount of time, that information is not going to go through.
And if you need to send a long transmission, you can always, instead of saying the word over, which signifies the end of your transmission, you can always say the word break. So if you have a long-winded sentence where you need to communicate a lot and you need to take a pause in the radio, you just say the word break. So that could sound like, "Team leader, this is the Slack man. I'm in the west hallway and I'm observing a suspicious individual. Break. I'm requesting support from Rover 2 to assist me in handling this situation."
Yeah, absolutely. And it gives people time to react too. So like I might have heard this and then my situation comes up. Okay, I need to immediately start doing whatever my SOP is. Do I move towards it? Do I secure an exit? Whatever it is. So it also sets in the motion other things as well.
So the third thing that we want to talk through, Ron, is how to escalate through the right chain and how to do it quickly. So this kind of falls back onto your church's SOP. Whoever observes the situation, are they going to be the one primarily communicating it? Or as the situation unfolds, is the communication going to switch to like maybe the team leader taking charge? That all kind of depends on your church's SOPs. Some people might have different things, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you have like the observer or the initiator of the instance, whatever's happening, let's say for this instance, it's the Slack man. If he needs to go right to the team leader, or if you play multiple roles, like you're also the de-escalator, I can also, even my radio transmissions, clear, short, concise, then that can trigger that person without me actually saying, you need to handle the situation, this person. It has been over the radio already. The SOP is, okay, now I'd go de-escalate, or the de-escalator handles it, depending on what it is.
Yeah, and this is not an end all be all, but in my opinion, I think kind of for more smaller churches, those that observe can probably take on the primary role of communicating. Whereas if you're in a larger church where your security team is much bigger and there's more patrons, it might be wise to have the kind of escalate your communications up to a higher echelon, like the team leader or the assistant team leader or somebody like that.
Yeah, especially if you're more familiar and you've been selected as a team leader because you're more efficient or you're more proficient or you're more of a respected person in the church, it might help de-escalate the situation. Or they might have more info on what's going on overall.
All right, Ron. So coming out of kind of the reconnaissance community, we're big on rehearsals, right? Rehearsals kind of seem to be the key for everything. You mentioned that your background included being a JFO. I had the fortune of going to the TACP school where I became a JTAC, and a JTAC is somebody who is on the ground and communicates with aircraft or artillery to kind of coordinate fires in close proximity to friendly forces. And that requires a ton of communication over the radio. So one of the things that I learned as a JTAC was that you need to be super concise, super calm, and you need to instill confidence in those people that you're talking to. And the way that you do that is through rehearsals.
Yeah, keeping familiar with the flow of everything is huge. You were talking about like when you actually call on an aircraft, they need to be confident in what you're doing. And it's every part of the chain. If you're the JTAC and you're actually controlling the fire, or if I'm the JFO and I'm observing, giving you the information to the aircraft itself, however many or where they're at, you're controlling them. That's huge. And you're going to either rehearse your success or rehearse your failure. So you only have one choice really, and that's rehearse your success.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the kind of TACP, JTAC world, we did this thing that was called chair flying. And you can do this with your security team where you basically just rehearse the radio communications of a mission from the start to the finish. So on the JTAC world, I mean, I would start from the second an aircraft checks on, this is me, immediate air request over, something like that. You can rehearse from your entire start of the mission to the end of the mission, and that'll give your team confidence that they know how to communicate through any scenario, whether it be a small scenario or a large threat.
Absolutely. And if something out of the ordinary happens that's not to your scenario, you have a good baseline understanding of what it could happen or what's the normal procedure, that what happens next. You've already gone through it in your head and with your team. So it's a little more fresh in your mind and it's easier to do.
It might even be a good idea to kind of chair fly through a certain scenario, maybe 15, 30 minutes prior to a church service actually beginning. That way, like you said, it is fresh in your mind and ready to go.
Yeah, something we did in the schoolhouse, reconnaissance schoolhouse, on the pool example, we would do a drowning victim. Now, a drowning victim is a huge deal. You need to get on that scenario right away. But is it on the surface? Is it on the bottom of the pool? And just having these scripts, but just changing this one factor. It's like, all right, now it is a bottom of the pool drowning victim. Now it is a top of the surface drowning victim. Or this victim came off the high dive. He might have a head or neck injury. Right. We have to change it slightly, but we're still familiar with all these different things. But like we said before a class would start, we would bring everyone in and we would do this rehearsal. So we're all fresh and creative. Or if we had a new part of the team come in, it doesn't hurt to do a fresh rehearsal for everybody. Keep it fresh in your mind.